Tyrants and governments wanted to do it, but nobody understood biology well enough, and nobody had enough computing power and data to hack millions of people. Neither the Gestapo nor the KGB could do it. But soon, at least some corporations and governments will be able to systematically hack all the people. We humans should get used to the idea that we are no longer mysterious souls. We are now hackable. It might enable human elites to do something even more radical than just build digital dictatorships. By hacking organisms, elites may gain the power to re-engineer the future of life itself.
And they shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 8. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash. Double honors to our venerable apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. So Brother Aharon coming back at you with another lesson. The Lord willing to be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. All right. And today is March 10th, 2025. All right. The hopeful year of Esau's destruction and the deliverance of the elect. All right. And I have an article here I want to go into. But before I do so, I want to mention that I saw Elder Apostle Tahar's video, I want to say a couple of days ago, probably on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. All right. And it was a video that he did on Dabu 7's video going into, I believe they said in June or July, there's going to be something that's going to take effect in regards to digital currency. Okay. And, when you hear digital currency, that's going to tie in perfectly with digital ID, right? Digital identity. Okay. Anything that you hear about digital, in order for you to actually use said digital apparatus, you're going to have to be digitally identified, right? And we've been talking about this for a while now. I'll say past couple of years, when they start pushing, since the CV, when they start pushing this idea of contact tracing and QR codes and all these different things. We talked about how they're going slowly but surely they're going to implement the concept of a digital identification. And through that, we're going to see the emergence of the Rfid, you know what? Okay, because that ties in perfectly with your digital ID. That's why it's called radio frequency identification. Okay. And lo and behold, March 10th, today, we've seen a lot of news in regards to this. There was a cyber attack that hit so-called X. All right, Elon Musk and them. All right, and then I think Canada put a 25% tariff on the U.S. Certain parts of the U.S. is going to be hit with a 25% tariff on electricity. Okay, and then of course the stock market, started taking a hit. Okay, now it's interesting. When I was at work earlier today, a customer was saying she went on her phone and she whispered under her, she said it under her voice, like under her breath, and I heard it. I caught it. She said, "Oh man," she picked up her phone. She looked at it. She goes, "Oh man, the stock market is taking a hit right now." She was like, "Man, this is strange." Something to that effect. Now, when I heard that, I didn't even look at her. I just kind of looked at the TV screen because the TV was dark, so I could see the reflection. So I looked up at the TV screen and I saw her behind me, and I'm like, damn, she got a face of like she's worried, but it's just like the typical American. Even though they're worried in their minds, because nothing is really happening right away, in their minds they still have this sense of security. They still have this sense of, oh well, I mean, yeah, things could go bad, but we've seen this before. It's gonna bounce right back. Let's give it a few more hours and see what happens. So it's not until things go all the way haywire before they're gonna start, oh my God, oh we know. Nah, it's over with. Okay, when the people start panicking, because right now they got Trump, the perfect person to usher in this new beast system here in America. Okay, because he has everyone on board, and they got Doge and all these different agencies that are being used as a facade, all right, to bring in this MOTB system. Okay, everything you're seeing step by step, they're eradicating the old way of doing things and they're bringing in the new way, all right, but they're doing it in a way where it's, the people are for it, because at the end of the day, who doesn't want to save millions and billions of dollars of tax dollars, right? So they're letting you know, oh, look what they're using your money for. See, this is why we need to come in and change these things. But guess what? Those billions of dollars that these people are saying that they're saving, it's not going back to the American people in their pockets, right? It's not. See, so they're saying that the government is being efficient and all these different things, but it's all being switched into a digital frame. You see, where it's not aiding the American people. And then, of course, you have this one here, which we're about to read, right? Because it all ties in. Okay, don't be mistaken by thinking that, oh, it's just maybe one country or two countries are doing it. You think, oh, Sweden got their people micro C-hipped, so everything is good. Nah. Because what did Klaus Schwab say? He said they don't want to impose too much on different countries because you got different mentalities, right? There's a different way of culture and different way of living, all right, and different way of operation when you go to the East compared to the West. So they have to be very careful with how they implement some of these new age technologies. All right. Because when you look at the Eastern mindset, it's more of a collectivist mindset in the sense that people are more, they function more in a group sense. While in the Western hemisphere, it's more of an individualistic culture where everyone is all about themselves. Right. You don't really see people moving like a family unit. Everyone is more, they do their own thing, right? You have the iPhone, this, that. Everything is about the person, individual, right? So they have to be, if they're going to cause all, they have to, be able to bring in a system that is supposed to aid those set cultures so that it's easier for the people to transition into this new digital framework. Okay. So here it says, is the UN's digital ID plan the end of privacy as we know it? The United Nations push for a digital identity framework has sparked intense debate about its implications for individual privacy. As governments and international organizations increasingly embrace digital solutions to streamline services and enhance security, right, peace and safety, concerns are mounting over whether these systems could erode personal freedoms and usher in an era of unprecedented surveillance. This article draws from mainstream news sources to explore the UN's digital ID initiatives, their stated goals, and the privacy risks they may pose. The UN has been advocating for digital identification as a means to address global challenges, right? It's a global thing, cause it all, right? Particularly for the estimated 1.1 billion people worldwide who lack official proof of identity. Okay? So it makes you wonder, like, what's this fuss about having everyone identified? Because in order to have control, they must identify each and every individual. Remember, the prophecy says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. When you go into that word all in the Greek is the word pas, which is pas, which means individually and then ultimately collectively. The only way you can actually get a majority of people to be a part of something is to identify them, each and every individual. Right now, you have something known as biometrics. Okay, biometrics is important for the MOTB system to work because it deals with each and every individual on a individual basis, right? Your palm scan, your iris scan, these are things that identifies you as a human being, right? Previously, you had your thumbprint, right? That's how it started, right? They get your, when you go to vote or whatever the case may be, you put your thumb on the ink, and then your thumb pattern is different from everybody else. It's very unique. You You see, that's what makes you unique. That's what makes you an individual. That sets you apart from everybody else. You see, so now they have to be able to step it up, where they want to know exactly who's doing what, saying what, where are you, what are you doing, what are you saying, and so on and so forth. How are you living your life in this new digital system? They must know all these things. Okay, remember, in 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, talks about them trying to be like the Most High, right? Let's get that real quick, and then we flow from there, right? They will be like the Most High. The Most High is omnipresent, he's omnipotent, he's omniscient, and Esau is using technology to push himself onto that level of godly power. Okay, there's a book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 4. It says, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, so that he as God, all that is called God or that is worshipped, right? So that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, shewing himself that he is God, right? These are all claims, right? These are all claims. He's not the Most High. We know that, right? He's not the Most High, but he's attempting by using AI and technology to make people believe that he has a power to be like the Most High. Okay, and it's going to take a little bit more of a fight for them to actually get the masses to succumb to this type of deception, but it's going to be it's going to be done nonetheless, because it's biblical prophecy, and right when we are right at the door of that. Okay, we're right at the door of this prophecy being fulfilled. Okay, it says, according to a Reuters report from September 2020, that's where this whole thing really picked up, right? Because remember, prior to 2020, you had something known as Agenda 21. Okay, Agenda 21, and now you have Agenda 2030. And I remember Christine Lagarde, she mentioned how 2020 and then 2021, 2025, 2020, 2030, those are major years, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so we're gonna see how this year plays out, but we're in the 3rd month of this month of the year, and we're already seeing Americans, they're not really messing with this Trump guy, man. Because the facade, right, is falling. You know what I mean? The facade is falling little by little. This guy is out here signing executive orders left and right. You know what I'm saying? Shit is crazy. All right, but it says, according to a Reuters report from September 2020, digital IDs are seen as a tool to unlock economic growth, with a 2019 McKinsey study cited in the article suggesting that such systems could boost economies by up to 13% of GDP by 2030 through improved access to services and smoother transactions. You see that? Transactions, right? The UN's Pact for the Future. See, I think I did a video on this last year, the Pact for the Future, and what that's all about. And it all ties into how they're going to ultimately want to bring in that MOTB. Okay, all nations, and then when they start pushing that, a lot of people are like, oh no, we're not with that. So they had to fall back a little bit, but they'll just repackage it, rebrand it, and then bring it in. Okay, it says the UN's Pact for the Future, adopted by 193 nations in September 2024, further emphasizes this agenda, promoting biometric digital IDs, see that, as part of a broader vision for sustainable development and technological progress. Okay, a key component of this effort is the UN Digital ID Project, described on the UN's Chief Executives Board website as a, quote, flagship digital transformation project, end quote, aimed at providing a universal identity for UN staff. Okay, when you go into that word universal, see, he says UN staff. Nigga, please. Let's type universal. See what that says. Right? It says pertaining to or characteristic of the whole of something specified. Okay? It says occurring everywhere. Okay? Affecting the whole world or cosmos. That word cosmos shows up there. Okay? The same word that describes the word world. When you read certain verses in the New Testament, they use the word cosmos. Okay, So it's affecting a whole world or cosmos. Okay. It says general or universal. It says of or belonging to all. The word all is highlighted again, right? It says all together, a whole or an entirety. Okay. So they're letting you know that their plan is not for, just a small little sect. All right. It's a global push for total control. And that's going to fulfill biblical prophecy. Okay. Once this system is in place, at that point, everything is tied into this system. In order to use or utilize this system, like we've been saying, you're going to have that MOTB inside of you. And that's just how it is. Okay. Just like how they were able prior to, let me see if I can find it here. Let me see. Hold on. When did, Slack, I'm using one hand, Slack. When did Social Security start? Okay, let's see. The Social Security program, hold on. Why is it AI? There you go. The Social Security, it says, when did Social Security start? Right? I'm just using that as an example, right? The Social Security program in the United States began as a measure to implement social insurance during the Great Depression of the 1930s. Okay, during the Great Depression is when they brought this out, right? Did the Great Depression stay all the way from 1930s till now? No. But that system was put in place during that time and it stayed forever, at least till now, right? So just to show you how they always implement new ways of living during a time of a crisis, because that's the best time to actually come out with these new measures and new ways of living and so on and so forth, right? It says the Social Security Act was enacted on August 14th, 1935, right? And we're in 2025, right? And it provided benefits to retirees and the unemployed, as well as a lump sum benefit at death. Social Security taxes were first collected in January 1937. Okay, now let's look up when did the birth certificate start, right? Let's see what they say here. So we know 1930s is when the Social Security, 1935 is when the Social Security thing started, right? Let's check this out. When did the birth certificate start, right? It says the civil registration of births, marriages, and deaths in England and Wales began on July 1st, 1837. Following the Registration Act of 1836, in the United States, data related to births were recorded in church registers as early as the 1500s, but a standardized birth registration system was established by the Bureau of Census in 1902. Okay, so remember, this conspiracy to bring about this new world order where the masses are going to be sea-hipped started taking effect back in 1776 by a man named Adam Weishaupt, right? Because you don't have a new world order if you don't have the mass population microchipped. You can't have a new world order when people are freely doing whatever the hell they want to do. People own things. People are living life, traveling freely, doing whatever the hell they want to do, right? They have the ability to push back against governments, okay? But in the New World Order, you don't have any of that, right? When they tell you you will own nothing and you'll be happy, that means you don't even own yourself, okay? Because they own you. You become a property. You become cattle, all right? Officially cattle, right? That's why they're going to give you that digital all to show you that they own you. Okay, and it's a global thing, right? So those are two examples. You have the birth certificate, and then you have Social Security. These two things will be merged into one. Okay, it goes back, all ties into your digital ID, and those two things are very important. Why? Because now we live in a system where those two things identify who you are: your birth certificate and your Social Security. Right? So now, if you merge those two things and you make it into a digital frame, right? Now, if you're not identifiable with your CHIP, then you don't exist. And if you don't exist, it doesn't mean, oh, they're just going to leave you and then you just don't exist. No. If you don't exist, that means you can't even be around. See? You can't be around. They're going to come after you. They're going to chase you down. They're going to imprison us. They're going to do a lot of these things to us. But at the end of the day, our faith will prevail. See? The Lord is going to keep us. The most important thing is not taking the CHIP. That's it. I don't care what they say or what they do. Do not take that CHIP under any circumstances. Even if death is the only solution, fuck it. Well, death is the solution. That's the only way out then. You know? That's the mindset we got to be in. That's the mindset everyone has to be in. But we know only the elect are going to have that mindset. So it is what it is. You got those who see and those who don't see. Right? Or it's those who see, right? Those who see when they're shown and those who don't see at all. Right? So it says, so continue, it says, the UN's Pact for the Future. Wait, no, I think I read this. There you go. It says, a key component of this effort is the UN Digital ID project, described in the UN's Chief Executives Board website as a flagship digital transformation project aimed at providing a universal identity for UN staff. So it starts there and it trickles down into everything else because of something known as the PPP, I think, private public partnership. Okay, so even though the UN is its own entity, right, it will merge in and bleed into other entities that are all kind of related, right? When you have BlackRock, when you have Vanguard, when you have State Street, and they're the biggest stakeholders, whatever policy that they push, everybody else who's under them is going to have to deal with that. Okay? Gone are the days where, pretty much, I'll see if I can give you a good example, right? Let's say I have a business, right? This is how these agencies and so on. So this is how they work, right? So let's just say I have a business. Okay, I'm creating, maybe let's just use maybe I'm in the business of making tea, right? Or originally I'm making organic tea, selling it, whatever. Small business, cool. Maybe after a couple of years, it starts picking up steam. So now my tea company has become major. I'm opening different businesses, different stores in different countries and so on and so forth. So I've commercialized it, right? But it's still a private thing, And then a lot of times you hear these companies say, oh, they're going public, right? When they go public, it's in other words, they're saying that they can be bought, they can have shares bought on the stock market, right? So my company goes public, and then Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street, all these big conglomerates, they come in and they buy shares. But what they do is they buy the biggest shares, right? Then that makes them shareholders, right? So now my product is being funded predominantly by these big time shareholders. So in other words, being that they're funding me to keep up with my business because they're the biggest shareholders, so they're pumping money into my business, right? Now I kind of have to do things to appease them because they pay me a lot, right? So now they say, hey, listen, man, Haran, look, your organic tea, you're using natural sugar cane, but that's costing way too much money. So we want to cut back on cost and all these different things, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to implement AI into your business. It's going to save a lot of money for all of us. I said, okay, cool, let's do it. So people are going to be losing jobs. We put AI in there. Boom, cool. Then they say, you're using organic sugar cane. It's just the process to get it all through here. It's too much money. How about you just use this synthetic stuff that we have in the labs? It's going to save us a whole lot more money, right? So then I'm like, you know what? Cool, fuck it, whatever, right? I'm making a lot more money. So the product quality doesn't really matter to me anymore, right? The customer satisfaction doesn't really matter to me anymore. It's more about pleasing, not the customer anymore, because they're not the ones paying me no more. It's more of the stakeholders, right? The stakeholders, they're the ones who are paying me to keep my business open, right? They have most shares. So whatever they say in these meetings, these board meetings, that's what's going to happen, right? So you see all of a sudden you're like, yo, damn, the quality shit, like what happened, man? Damn. People getting sick and shit like that. I'm getting lawsuits left and right. So then I come up with a different remedy. I say, oh, the tea that, you're buying, is causing people to lose hair, right? All of a sudden, at first it wasn't doing that, but now it's doing that, right? So then we create a different brand of tea that if you drink is going to make you grow your hair back from the hair that you lost from drinking the old tea. You see? So it's a cycle of, what I call psychopathy. It's a cycle of madness, right? And you buy one product owned by the same shareholders thinking that it's going to help you. It causes you harm. You go buy another product to fix that harm that was caused, owned by the same stakeholders, right? So in any way you look at any direction you take, these people are in control of the whole system anyway, right? And so that was just an example to give you that no matter what angle you want to go, when you go all the way to the top, right, you see the same companies, the same entities, the same power people playing the same games, right? So the UN is no different from the Hudat. You know what I'm saying? They're no different from the CDC. Like they all carry the same agenda because they're owned by the same people at the top. So whatever orders is given from the top, it just trickles down into the different sectors, right? So they say, hey, listen, we want to change people's behavior. All right, well, how are we going to do it through the medical field? All right, well, get the UN, get the CDC involved, get the NHS involved, get the Hudat involved, right? And let's come up with a plan. Cool. Then they go ahead and do what they got to do. And then they say, all right, how about the entertainment industry? And then they group up and then they come up with something. And then you go, okay, what about the school system? And then they group up and come up with something. All right, what about the clothing, the fashion industry, right? So when you really look at it, it's like, damn, all roads are leading to this one thing, and that's the MOTB. Okay, that's why no matter what you do, flights, right? Shit, man, it's just annoying, but it's a lot. It's like, damn, how come these motherfuckers have so much power? Well, that's what the Lord said, Job 9:24. Right? Let me see if I can get that real quick. Job chapter 9 verse 24. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Right? So the devils, all right, the wicked of this earth, they're the ones who have all the power. Okay, because the Lord gave them that power because it is their time to rule. Right? It is their time to rule. And now they want to play the victim and make it seem like we're bad guys for highlighting the evils that they do on this earth, calling us anti this and hate this and all. It's not going to work. This is your time to rule. How the hell are you victimizing yourself when you're ruling? Fuck wrong with these niggas, man. And your rulership is filled with disgust. All right. That's why the Lord's going to take these devils up out of here, man. Very, very soon. Okay. Job, the 20th chapter tells you that when he's about to fill his belly, all right, the Lord is going to cast his fury upon him and he's not going to escape, man. All right. And we're inching closer and closer to that time. All right. But you best believe this MOTB prophecy is about to be fulfilled in the next few months. Okay. Yes. Few months. All right. We don't got another 1,000 years. No. Few months. Okay. It says, while this initiative is currently internal, it reflects the organization's broader ambition to create standardized, interoperable digital identity systems that could eventually extend to citizens globally. You hear that? That's what I was waiting for. Shit. Right? So their ambition is to create this thing, make it standard, right? It's just a standard. It starts internally, but then we standardize it. Right? Like I said, I gave the example, they all work together. Interoperability. All right? Interoperable, meaning they can all work together. Inter meaning between. Right? Inter. Let me see if I can find that word here. Oh, hold on. Inter, the preface or preface. Inter. There you go. It's a word forming element, right? Meaning between, among, or during, right? So between, inter, right? So Interoperable, meaning being able to operate between different apparatuses. Okay, let's actually look up the word and see what they got for us. Interoperable. There you go, right there. Right, it says between inter and operable. I'm going to that word. Operable, practicable. Right, capable of treatment by operation. No, I'm not looking for that. Operate, it says to be in effect, to perform, or to be at work. So to perform between each other, right? So basically the MOTB, being able to interact between humans and machines. That's what it's all about. Okay. So it says, while this initiative is currently internal, right, it reflects the organization's broader ambition to create standardized, interoperable digital identity systems that could eventually extend to citizens globally. Causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. The UN frames these efforts as a step toward inclusivity, all, efficiency, and data-driven governance. See? Data-driven governance. That's the MOTB. That's the data. The data is you, the people. Okay? That's where you get the word in the let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Let's let the word talk. It's easier to just read what it says. So let's see what we can get here. Okay, when you go into that word mark, right? Let's do that because we've gone into this many times, and the closer we get, the more clearer it becomes, because they're actually using technology that fulfills this to a T, right? So let's see where we get here. The word mark, right? The Greek is charagma. Okay, when you go into that word charagma, the root word says charax, right? Charax, which is a pale or stake or palisade, right? The device in which they're going to use to implant that device under the people or the skin, right? When you go into it a little bit more, the root word for charax is grapho. So what are they going to be using? What's going to be in that charax that's going to be put underneath the skin is the grapho. And when you go into the word grapho in the Greek, right? Grapho is what? To write with reference to the form of the letters, right? Now, let's check something out. I got something here for you real quick. Hold on one second. Let me see if I still have that tab open. I was looking into it some time ago. Let's see what we got. Right here. RFID digital ID for citizens, right? RFID chips have been proposed for use in digital identification for citizens. See, so we're reading about digital ID, and now we're tying it into what they're really going to be using for that digital ID system to work, right? It's going to be your RFID CHIP, right? It says particularly in healthcare, right? For instance, VeriChip, which was they were like out there back in like 05, 06, even prior to that. But I started hearing about it, at least going back to the research I was doing. It goes back to 05 all the way to 08, around there, because that's when they really wanted to push that thing out, before Obama's time. And then once Obama came in 2008, 2009, they were like, yo, we about to push this. But it wasn't time yet. All right, it wasn't time yet. Okay, so a couple of decades later, look where we at. All right. It says, for instance, VeriChip, a company that specializes in implantable RFID chips, has marketed its technology for human use after receiving FDA approval in 2004. 2004. So 2004, 2014, that's 10 years. 2024, that's 20 years. So 20 years ago, they already had FDA approval for this shit. Okay? About 200 people in the US now carry the chip, which contains a 16-digit identifier linked to their individual medical records in a central database. See that? You see that? So that's that grapho. All right, your individual database, your individual data. Okay. However, the use of RFID CHIPs for digital identification has faced significant controversy. The European Group on Ethics, and that's what Klaus Schwab was worried about. The fourth industrial revolution, it changes you. It changes you. You, the individual, it changes you. And then the guy asked him, he's like, oh, but what kind of obstacles? He said, yeah, that's the point. That's the problem. The ethics, the legal ethics and all, that's what they're worried about. So now they have to create a framework where those hurdles will be easily jumped over. So it says here, and the perfect crisis will do just that, right? It says the European Group on Ethics in Science and New Technologies has raised concerns about the potential misuse of such devices for social surveillance or manipulation, and the risks to human dignity and the integrity of the human body. Right? Well, when they tell you that they want to merge humans and machines, they don't care about no human dignity or no integrity for the human body. They don't care about that. When Elon Musk is telling you that he's going to put a brain chip in your brain and all this, he don't care about no human dignity. They don't care. They don't care. Right? It says, in the context of government and commercial applications, RFID CHIPs are used in various forms of identification. That's the focus of this video, right? The UN is now bringing out information that they're getting ready to bring out digital IDs. And this is how they're going to bring it out, okay? It says, such as passports, your ability to travel, transit passes, ability to travel, and contactless entry keys, access, okay? These CHIPs can be used to identify individuals at a distance without their knowledge, raising privacy concerns. See? There have also been discussions about the potential for mandatory RFID implants for U.S. citizens. Let's read that again slow. There have also been discussions about the potential for mandatory. Let's slowly break that word down. Mandatory. Let's see. Mandatory. What do we got? Mandatory in the online etymology dictionary says, of the nature of a mandate. Mandate. When this dickhead is out here signing executive orders, those are rules. Those are mandates. Okay? Containing a command. All right? Pertaining to a mandator who gives a charge or command. Okay? Sense of obligatory because commanded. That means by law. Okay? It says a command, a judicial or legal order. All right? That's a mandate. Something is compulsory. It's a must. Okay? So it says here, there have also been discussions about the potential for mandatory RFID implants for U.S. citizens, with some suggesting that such implants could be linked to a nationalized healthcare system. We're going to be on the lookout for that. However, these discussions remain speculative. No, they're not going to remain speculative, not for long, and have not led to widespread implementation. The perfect crisis will bring just that. Remember, healthcare, right? The health. What we've been hearing about lately? Different variants of diseases and viruses, and we're going to see. It says RFID CHIPs used in U.S. enhanced driver's licenses and national identity cards from places like European countries have different functionalities. While U.S. EDLs, which is enhanced driver's license, and passport cards have RFID CHIPs that only transmit a unique ID number, which is your grapho, to a database, European national identity cards often have more sophisticated CHIPs that store actual biographical data. Grapho. Okay? They store actual biographical data and potentially even a digital version of the photo or fingerprint template. Okay? Overall, RFID CHIPs offer potential benefits for identification and tracking, but also raise significant privacy and ethical concerns. There you have it. Right? So I was reading about that probably like last week, and I left that tab open so Thwadiya Bashim Yashah is able to just go right back to it. Right? So that's a little bit of information on grapho. Okay? That's your biological data. Okay? So going back to the blue letter, the root word in the word grapho, it says Um, it says to write with reference to the contents of the writing. All right. It says to record, right? Data, right? It says to write to one, i.e., by writing in a written epistle, or it says to give information. See, that's your data. That's information being stored on you in a database. Okay? And it's going to be engraved, right? Etched underneath your skin. There's no way around it. There's no two ways around it, man. This is what it is. All right, so these kind of ass groups, I keep saying it's sin in all its various ways, both political. That doesn't even make sense. That wouldn't make sense. So we know they sold out and they're not men of the Lord. Period. Right. So going back to the article, it says, where we at? Where do we stop off at? Right. The UN frames these efforts as a step toward inclusivity, efficiency, and data-driven governance. Despite these stated benefits, the rollout of digital IDs has raised red flags among privacy advocates. Kind of interesting how the Rfid CHIP raised red flags among privacy advocates, and the same thing with the digital ID. Very interesting. What do they know? What do they know? Interesting. Let's keep going. It says, a Reuters article from September 2020 discussing Britain's digital ID plans, which align with broader international trends, highlighted warnings from digital rights campaigners about the risks of identification technology. Such systems often rely on biometric data like fingerprints or iris scans. See? That's your biometric data, right? Linked to unique digital codes, making them accessible online. Critics argue this creates vulnerabilities for data breaches, profiling, and surveillance, which is true, right? Because they keep telling you, telling the world, deceiving them, right? Because it's through deception that they're going to bring these things about. That, this is, you have better security and so on and so forth. But guess what? Last time I checked, you can't hack a piece of paper, right? You can't hack a piece of paper. If I have my driver's license or, digital, like an ID card, right? You can't just hack that if it's in my living room somewhere. But you can hack my phone, even if it's in my living room from somewhere else in a different country. I did a job, was it last week? And as soon as I got in there, the customer was like, yo, man, like he's trying to change his internet IP, whatever shit. I'm like, I can only help you with the Wi-Fi, but I ain't going to help you with no IP address setup and all that. You might have to get a VPN, And he said that because he said his account got hacked. And they were transacting thousands of dollars out of his account where he had no knowledge of. He said he was sitting behind his computer one day. Next thing he knew, his whole screen went blank. And then it popped on a few seconds later. And it says, hit this link or hit this to reboot or whatever. And as soon as he hit it, boom, it was over with. Right? So he had to call for them to cancel all them transactions and all this credit card stuff. And I'm saying to myself, like, look at this. You can easily get hacked with electricity, with electronic and digital devices. But yet they keep teaching or telling people that it's more secure and it's safer, all this extra BS, which is not true. Okay? So somebody could definitely hack into your shit, but that's the somebody is not going to be a random ass person looking for you. No, it's the government. Okay? Like Larry Ellison said. You know what I'm saying? They're going to record everything, And when you say, Oracle, I'm going to use the restroom, I need privacy. Rather than turn off the camera, they're not going to turn it off. They're just not going to be watching at that time, but they're still recording. And then they said if it comes to a time where they need to review that information, and then they can only get it by a court order. Well, nigga, who's going to be running the courts? Huh? So we don't want to hear that shit. I keep going. It says, the article noted Kenya's Huduma Namba digital ID scheme, which faced legal challenges from rights groups over privacy violations before being allowed to proceed with stricter regulations. And those stricter regulations will pass away in a time of a crisis or an emergency, because those stricter regulations will be in the way of a solution for whatever problem that they're going to bring up. So they're going to have to eliminate those regulations in order for the solution to actually work. And that's how they're going to always do it. That's Esau's MO. Okay, problem, reaction, solution. So it says, the New York Times has also weighed in on the broader privacy debate. In a May 2022 opinion piece titled, "We Need to Take Back Our Privacy," the author argued that the unchecked collection of personal data undermines liberty, a concern that resonates with fears about digital IDs. While not directly addressing the UN's plan, the piece reflects a growing unease about centralized data systems, especially in a post-Roe America where data could be weaponized against individuals, and that's exactly what it's going to do. That's part of the plan, right? The UN's push for biometric IDs, which could integrate sensitive personal information across borders, amplifies these worries. The tension between convenience and control is a reoccurring theme in coverage of digital IDs. All right, let's see if I could just jump a little bit of this and get the main parts. Right here. China's dystopian social credit system, referenced in the same report, serves as a cautionary tale of how digital IDs could evolve into tools of oppression if not carefully regulated, a fear echoed in discussions about the UN's global framework. Okay, that's why this is known as a beast system. Okay, it's a beast system ran by AI. You're not going to escape. Okay, let's see. The BBC reported in 2020 on former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair's endorsement of digital IDs to track CV-19 Vanessas, framing them as, quote, common sense. See how they're doing it? Yet the same Reuters piece on Britain's plans noted the government's pledge to base its system on principles like privacy and transparency, a promise that UN advocates might point to as well. Is that still the lack of concrete details about how the UN's system would function globally leaves room for skepticism. As the Open Government Partnership noted in a March 2024 blog, poorly implemented digital ID systems risk excluding marginalized groups and enabling state surveillance if democratic principles like public participation and data protection aren't prioritized. All right, so yeah, man, that's pretty much the end of the article. All right, but it's a lot that they have in here, you know, and we unpacked it nicely, but it goes to show you what was this article dated. Let me see if they have the date here. They don't. Great. All right, but it's definitely within the past couple of days. All right. But again, it goes to show you how close we are to this thing becoming a reality. Okay, no more is it going to be a prophecy spoken of, all right, primarily by the men of Great Millstone on down. Okay, but it's going to be a reality felt all throughout the world. That's the hour of temptation that we've been warning about. You know, and when you go into, yeah, it's crazy. It's a spirit, man. All right, let's get that real quick. In the book of Revelation, chapter 3 and verse 10, it says, "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth." And I know Elder Apostle Hart did a video on this, and he was landbacking off of the Elder Kazak from Mississippi, and he went into that word try, right? And when you go into that word try, right, which that's a spirit, because I actually never went into that word. Okay, it says piradzo, right? It says let me see right here. Let me see. Go into that word piradzo, the root word of that, right? Pira, right? Let me see if there's a little bit. Oh, right here. It says through the idea of piercing. Okay, through the idea of piercing. All right, that's crazy. That is crazy. Piercing. Damn. Wow. Look at that. And we go into a little bit more into that, the piran, right? It goes into beyond on the other side, right? Beyond on the other side, right? Now, oh, hold on. I just saw something there, right? It says to pierce, right? To pierce through. It says across, beyond, or further, right? Now, we're going to look up a word right here. The word, let me see. Let me see. Damn, that's not the word I'm looking for. Was it transhumanism? Let me see. There you go. Trans, right? Trans, when you go to that word, the prefix trans, right? Transhumanism, trans, right? That's where the whole concept of meta comes in. Right? Trans, it says across, beyond, through, on the other side of, or to go beyond, right? So the word piran, which comes from the word piera, which means to pierce, right? When you go into it, it says beyond, on the other side, right? So this is the beginning. Once they start putting that C hip in you, you're on a different level, in the sense that you're no longer a regular human being. You're on the other side. You've pledged your allegiance and you're on the other side. All right. You're on the Father's side of things, other side. Okay. But that's the trial. All right. Experience, attempt a thing, to try, make a trial. Okay. But the concept here of that trial is a test, or it says as a test through the idea of piercing. Okay. And what is that piercing? That's the karax. Okay. That's the karax, man. It's going to pierce them, all them that dwell upon the earth. Okay. So the Lord is going to protect us from that time, right? The word temptation, pirasmo or pirasmos. All right. It's pretty much the same concept. All right. Yeah, it's pretty much the same concept. Pirazzo. Let me see if I could get a little bit more on that. Piercing. Yep. It goes pirazzo, tempt and trial all go to the same root word pira, which means to pierce or piercing. All right. So yeah, man, it's all coming full circle. And like I said, the closer we get to this thing, the more clearer it becomes. All right. And it's going to be unmistaken, because it's the last major test. You don't think the Lord is going to give you all the clues? All right. Everything is going to be right in your face. And those who make that decision to take it, it's not that they didn't know, it's that they make a conscious decision to do it. Right. Whether because of coercion, whether because of pressure, whatever the case may be, whether ultimately because they don't have faith, and ultimately they're not of the elect. But they will end up taking that C hip, but the elect, we're going to be protected from it, Lord willing, because Yahushua said that. Right? We just read it. Revelation 3 and 10. All right. So yeah, I'm going to leave it off there. Lord willing, you are edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash, the water Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai. Until next time, Shalom.